Hi everyone, this is Sean with Reigning Press News. This is my second podcast for the newsletter. I'm really excited about doing this. I decided to do the podcasts along with the newsletter because some people just don't have time to read the news anymore. And you can bring my newsletter up on your iPhones, your smartphones, and if you want to, you can just click on the video link to YouTube and just go ahead and listen to the podcast. And when you get time later on, go ahead and go back and look at the newsletter. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing up is author news. So what's up with me? Of course, it's summer in Washington. It took us a long time to get here. In April, we thought we had summer, and then it kind of turned nasty. Anyway, Washington is always an iffy place to have summer. Finally, by the end of May, beginning of June, it looked like it was going to be serious. Now it is. Our temperatures are like in the 80s and 90s. I know in Texas, Oklahoma, where they're all sweltering, they think we're whiners. But let's face it, Washingtonians live in the Pacific Northwest because we love cold, dark, damp places. We are basically cave dwellers. So anyway, so that's it with the news. It does make exercising a little bit on the tough side. I do power walking every morning for a couple of miles. And if I'm not out of the house by, let's say, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, forget it. It's just too hot. And most of my walking is all uphill anyway. So I don't want the EMTs being called because I passed out on the side of the road because it was too hot. So anyhow, enough of that. On to our blog to book for the Exodus. I promised you guys that the next couple of chapters were going to be about Ennis and Clifton. This next chapter is called No Longer Human. And in this one, Ennis is struggling, really having to struggle with the fact that she is no longer human. So she has that aspect to deal with, but she's also got to deal with the fact that she really feels like Clifton betrayed her. Though he didn't intentionally do it, she still feels like he didn't put all the cards on the table, and because of it, she has become a werewolf when she didn't want to be a werewolf. So it's really put a wrench in her lifestyle and her future plans. So anyway, she wants out, and that's what this chapter is all about, is Ennis having to grapple with that and what she's going to do about it. On to the writer's journal. Of course, I always try to share something about the writing process in life. And so for the next, I'm going to do about 5 or 6 of these. And this one happens to be writer's journal on what I had titled, it takes a village to write a book or to write a novel. Or, it really has to do with finding critique books, because when you write a novel, you're in a cave, you're writing the novel by yourself, unless you're collaborating with somebody. But what ends up happening is you really have to have input from people who are willing to put on the big boy panties and tell you when your manuscript sucks. Now, I'm not talking about beta readers. That's a little bit different. I'm talking about critique groups. These are the people that are in the nitty-gritty process of writing that first, second, third, fourth draft of your novel. So you really have to have input from people who are experienced, hopefully from other novelists who have got some experience under their belt. They can help you with plot. They can help you with character development. They can tell you when things are bogged down, when you're using way too much information. Anyway, they're just a really good resource to bounce your novel off of, and they're willing to be honest, not mean, but honest with you, and let you know when something is working and something isn't working. So really, that's what my writer's journal this month is all about, is really how I look at that process, what I think is important about that process, the kind of people I want to deal with, and the struggle of actually finding people who will be honest. I've been part of writer groups before, and everybody wants to be nice. Nobody wants to put on the big boy pants and say, hey, look, Sean, this is really fine, but it doesn't work. You're bored. The word is boring. It's not working. Your plot line is flawed, or your characters are shallow, or there's just way too much information here. So anyway, it's really hard to find people to be really honest with you and help you get through that process. So that's what my writer's journal is about. And of course, there's always, go and watch my book trailers for both Marcus Shamash and for The Gathering. Both books are available on Amazon, Smashwords, at Nook, Kobo, and iBooks. And then last but not least, book review. So July's book review is Nalini Singh, her latest book, Shards of Hope. If you haven't read the Side Changeling series, go do it. Go right now, put everything down, go buy a book. You don't have to read her books in order. Shards of Hope is number 14 in the Side Changeling. I actually didn't start with the first book. I can't remember which one I started with, but I kind of got dumped right in the middle of the series, and then I went back and started it all over again. They can either work in the series or stand alone. That's just the kind of author she is. She's one of my very favorite authors. I've read both her Archangel series and, the Guild Hunters series, the Side Changeling, and now she's on her Kiss series. I love them. And I know she's written some other things for Harlequin in the romance department. I'm just not real big on just romance. I'm really a paranormal romance lover. So that's really kind of where my heart goes. Anyway, back to Shards of Hope. In there, we're talking about the arrows this time, which are part of the Psi population. These are people who are very mental. They're telekinetics, teleporters. They do everything with the mind. They pretty much, up until this point in the stories, they've eliminated they've done what they call silence, where they've eliminated all emotions. And anyway, it's really an incredible book. There are three types of races in her Psi Changelings. There's the humans, the Psi, and then there are the changelings, which are like the werewolves, the cats. These are people who have two natures, both animal and human. And, okay, so back to Shards of Hope. We're talking about the arrows, who are the Psis. Now, the arrows are the elite assassin groups. They're the people that clean up the mess of the Psi people. And now that there is no silence, which means these people are allowed to have emotions, nobody knows what to do with them, because we've gone like for 100, 150 years without them. These particular arrows, Aiden and Zahara, have known each other almost their entire lives. And boy, I don't know how to tell you. I don't want to give any spoilers here, but it's really a great romance. Really sexy. These are incredible characters. Aiden he's the leader right now of the arrows, and he is like he's the poster child for the arrows. He's like the perfect guy. He's not too powerful. He's not too anything. He's just kind of like in the middle of the road. He's kind of the most approachable. Sarah, on the other hand, she's wild, off the charts. She doesn't really do silence very well, and never has. And in the beginning, it looks like they're just polar opposites, but in reality, they're not. They're very much alike. They've just learned to deal with their lives a little bit differently. So anyway, it's really a great story. Pretty much is a plot out to kill them both through the entire thing. And through that process, they end up becoming more than just friends, but there's always a battle with the Psi people of dealing with emotions, because once they let their emotions go, anything can happen. They're, like I said, they're people that have gone for 150 years without them. So anyway, get her stuff. They're wonderful. If you like paranormal, if you like romance, Nalini Singh is one of the best paranormal romance writers on the market, bar none. She writes the best characters. She has the best plot lines. She can really weave romance and suspense and mystery all together. Another thing I really like about her series is you get to see the same characters over and over again, so it's kind of like catching up with your best friends. So when when I'm reading Shards of Hope, I get to read about some of my favorite characters, because they're all part of this intricate network of people that she has spent all these years developing. It's like she brings her readers into her world building process. So she unravels this entire world with you as part of it, and it's really exciting to be able to do that. Read her stuff. Go get it. Go get the Guild Hunters. They're incredible too. So pretty much that's it for the month of July. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you get a chance, read the newsletter, and please go on to my rainingpress.com or ssspute.com. You can leave note. You can leave a comment there. I do ask for comments about the not the critique group, but about the getting writer input. If anybody's got any ideas how to build a bridge this for my own novels, please go ahead and leave a comment on the blog sites. If you're going to be mean, just tell me right up front that you're going to be mean, and I may or may not delete your comment. I don't know, just depends on how mean you get. But anyway, have a great month. Have a great 4th of July. Be safe. Don't get too many sunburns, and I will see you guys in August.